Welcome everyone to a Good Vibes gaming discussion. And hey, it's mid-February. Perfect time to cover what we're looking forward to in 2022. January, early February, those games don't matter. Those are old news. What's important is the here and now and what's coming up. Okay, granted, we took a little while to get things reshifted, turned around, but we're finally getting to this discussion. And I am joined once again by my wonderful friends and GVG co-founders, Ash Paulson and Steve Bowling. And yeah, we're just going to take a look at the games that are supposedly coming in 2022, say what we're looking forward to, any kind of predictions, just sort of get a feel for this year and how much it's going to hurt our wallets. And based on what we've seen so far, oh God, this year's going to hurt.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Especially in light of the recent Direct. Like, it's almost good that we waited, because now we can talk about things in light of everything that was just announced at the recent Nintendo Direct. And, have that as kind of a base of knowledge to go off of, and then talk about other stuff.
Yeah, can definitely build off that. And should we just get right to it? I just have the wiki page for 2022 up here so we can kind of go through and see what we're in for. And even just as of this recording, I don't know how far ahead we should go, but just even as of this recording, King of Fighters 15, Gets a Fumaden, Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection on Switch, and Voice of Cards The Forsaken Maiden all came out today. Oh yeah, and Total War Warhammer 3 if you care about those games. Like, my God.
Right. And then you might have heard of a tiny little game, maybe not very well known, that Steve just reviewed, that I'm super looking forward to, called Horizon Forbidden West. And that comes out at midnight, and I'm so excited. That is like one of my big tentpole releases for the year, and it is coming out so soon, and I'm still so jealous that you got to you got to review it instead of me, man. I'm glad you took it, but I just can't wait to play it.
I'm really glad that I got to take Horizon in retrospect, because I don't think I would have finished it this year otherwise. And I will tell you that it's going to be hard to top it this year. Like, even just being in February, I'm confident that I'll be talking about this in December. I'm confident I'll be talking about it in 5 or 6 years when we're wrapping up this generation. It's that damn good of a game. So, I'm so
excited.
And that's to say nothing, I say that, but I'm curious about what else 2022 has for us, because we really, looking at this list, scrolling through it, there's a lot of stuff, but the back half of the year, as is typical for most years, is predictably empty. There's certainly nothing there from Nintendo, and there's nothing, from even Sony or Microsoft yet. And those are traditionally the games that they think are going to be their real Game of the Year candidates.
I mean, right. I don't know. I put 2017. I put Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as my Game of the Year over Hyrule Warriors, Breath of the Wild. Excuse me.
Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah, I just enjoyed it that much, and I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping to have a chance to play Forbidden West, because I recently played Zero Dawn as well, and that game feels like the pinnacle of the old style of open world, and I'm very curious to see how they integrated the new style of open world that Breath of the Wild introduced with at the same time. And by all accounts, according to your review, which was wonderful, by the way, Steve, seems to have nailed it. So
it is.
Yeah, I'm so down.
It is definitely an open world game that doesn't make you feel like you're, just checking off stuff on a list, which I think Breath of the Wild is another one that excels at that. But it's definitely, if this is what they put at the front end of this year, it makes me wonder what they have for the second half. I think 2022 is poised to be as good as 2017 was. We ate good in 2017.
We did.
Just on the Nintendo side of things, but even Sony and Microsoft to a lesser degree were kind of firing on all cylinders that year, and I feel like it's almost becoming cyclical. Like, we've kind of become accustomed to AAA releases kind of being on a 5-year cycle for like major franchises, Mario, Zelda, stuff like that. And if we do get Breath of the Wild 2 this year, which somehow we're 10 minutes in almost, and we haven't talked about Breath of the Wild 2 even, which is supposedly a 2022 game. I have my
That's
doubts.
what I was going to say. But I actually feel we've been talking about 2017 Part 2 and big tentpole releases. It could slip into 2023, but I still have a feeling that Breath of the Wild 2 might be Nintendo's big holiday release, like late November, early December, maybe. But I kind of feel like it might sneak out this year. I kind of think so. But yeah,
I
who
could
knows? I mean, might not.
It seems like a good idea to do, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll pull it off because they love to take their time. COVID delayed things. Who knows?
That's true as well.
I could see it happening. I could totally see it slipping. I'm going in there with no expectations. Where
Right.
when it's out, it's out. That's where I'm sort of sticking.
Exactly in the same boat, Derek. I mean, like as a Nintendo or as specifically a Zelda fan who's been enamored with the franchise for decades now, I've just learned to ignore when Nintendo shows a year on a screen. Like when they're like 20, like they did that with Breath of the Wild. They were like 2015. Nah.
Right.
Like,
They definitely slipped.
Until we get an exact date, it's usually kind of up in the air.
Right.
So
I feel like if we don't have a date come, obviously there's no traditional E3 this year, but I have a feeling that the big three are still going to bring E3-esque hype at around that time of the year. And if we get like an E3-esque direct that Zelda isn't in, or we don't get a date, then it might be 2023.
Yeah,
like,
I
it
agree.
Feels like
that
we would get a date
in June. If we have not heard a hard date, then we probably won't get one. And I think that Jeff Keighley's still doing the Summer Game Fest, and he's very clearly trying to position it as an E3 replacement. Which I gotta admit, I mean, the Game Awards have been getting better every year. Summer Game Fest was okay last year.
Yeah.
If he could develop it into an actual physical presence instead of just an online showcase, I could definitely see it, getting the big three's attention more than it does. Yeah. And they could easily center whatever they want to show in the summer around Summer Game Fest instead of E3. Which I'm sure Jeff Keighley would love, and I'm sure the fans would be fine because however we get the info, we don't really care. But so I would be okay with that, and I still think that someone, I mean, say what you will about Jeff Keighley and his presentation style or his ethics or willingness to sell ad space, but if anything, he's a smart business person and an opportunist. And I mean that in the way that all business people are opportunists.
Kind of have to be.
Yeah.
And Sony very publicly several years ago kind of said, like, we're not against the idea of E3. We're against what E3 has become. Right. And maybe if you made some changes, we'd come back to the table. They said that publicly. So I'm sure Jeff Keighley probably has had that in the back of his mind.
He's going to take a few notes.
Yeah, exactly. Gonna jot down some ideas. What was E3 like before? If I do that, you're saying you'll reveal stuff with me instead? Okay.
I'm down for this. So
here are the hype police. They're coming.
We can see what's coming in.
They're coming like clockwork.
I mean, it's kind of fitting because I thought we'd move on to the next thing that's coming out in February. It's a good thing you got yourself a PC now, Ash, because Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster comes out on the 23rd.
Thinking about that, yes, and I so want to play that mainly because I need to hear that music. I need all the Pixel Remaster soundtracks have been the soundtracks have been remixed so perfectly, rearranged so perfectly by Uematsu, and 6 is like, if you played FF6, that's one of the crown jewels of the franchise, especially in terms of music. And I got to hear it. I cannot wait. And that's only a week out. So that is super exciting. And very, very happy about that. Although, again, Horizon might be too much of a... I think I'm going to be playing Horizon pretty much until hopefully our review copy of Chocobo GP comes in, because I'm scheduled to review that. And that's going to have to come first, of course, once we get that, assuming we do. Yeah. And that's another game.
At the very least, the music will be available, and you can potentially just wait for the console release, because those are coming this year.
Yeah.
One way or another. Those are coming this
probably
year.
Coming
the big question is whether they're going to be bundled or they're going to be individual. I could see them doing a Final Fantasy 1-3 collection and a Final Fantasy 4-6 collection.
I would say that if you bundled 1 through 6 together, that would probably be the way you get someone like me who doesn't have a ton of interest in 1 through 3 to buy them. And I will say that it's not necessarily the best move but this is also Square. So I kind of think like, what would be the optimal thing? And I agree with you that 2 collections would be optimal. But then I'm like, okay, Square probably had that idea, and then someone shot it in the foot and made it worse. And so they're like, all 6 for $100. And I'm like, man, I would still buy it just to play 6. Like, that's the game I want to play out of that collection.
Right.
Theoretically, I mean, we can compare it to Capcom, and I have to imagine that the Mega Man X Legacy Collection sold better than the X, Legacy Collection 2, which had 5 through 8.
Yeah, absolutely.
Typically the worst games in that one, but I still think there's value, especially with this is the first time we've had the original Final Fantasy 3 available in English. That has value on its own.
Well, I'm going to take that opportunity. I'm going to take that opportunity, Derek, to mention something I was going to talk about later in the discussion. But we do know, there was that Capcom Giga Leak a little while back, and we do know that they have something called Rockman Tyson, aka Mega Man Match, in development, and it was slated for 2022. Now, I don't know if COVID messed that up. Maybe it's not coming this year, but it's been almost 5 years now since Mega Man 11, and we know they were happy with it. We were happy with the sales of 11, all the collections, and given what we know from the Giga Leak, Mega Man Match has like a bit of a budget to it. Like I think they're targeting 2 or 3 million, which for Mega Man is pretty beefy, and so I have to imagine they're putting some love into this, and hopefully it comes out this year. That's what I just want to see what's next for Mega Man, because it's time. It's been almost 5 years now since Mega Man 11. So here's hoping. Here's hoping. But I did want to
2017 too, so that would match
true.
It. That would
yeah,
match
well, no, Mega Man 11 came out in 2028, so it's been 2018, not 2028. So it's been
okay,
almost 5 years. It's 4 years. Yeah.
So I think Mega Man Tyson is going to be a this is crazy. I think it's going to be an SRPG, like a strategy RPG.
I hope not. That's my fear. Is it's going to be something.
Does make me think of like Sakura Tyson or something like that.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, because he said match, and I was like,
Yeah.
in my mind, Sakura Tyson, Sakura Wars. Because when I hear Mega Man Match, I think of a puzzle game. I think of like a mobile puzzle game, honestly.
Yeah. Although a recreation of Puzzle Fighter with Mega Man characters,
Puzzle Fighter with Mega Man characters would be cool. I would like that. But if it's got a big budget,
give me X9, man. Come on.
Exactly. I feel like a game with a budget's going to be an RPG with a name like that, is what I should say.
Yeah.
And I know there's been some speculation that it could be a fighting game. I just don't know how much of a market there is for a Mega Man specific fighting game. I would love it, sure, but I just don't know that that's really.
Not when you have fighting game fans asking for Rival Schools, Darkstalkers,
Street Fighter 6.
Exactly.
And we know Street Fighter 6 is pretty deep in production at this point. Capcom has publicly said so.
Mm-hmm.
They took a character from 6 and added them to 5. So
get you hyped up.
I still don't like his design. I thought I was so underwhelmed. It's Luke, right? What's his name?
Yeah,
was it
I
Luke?
think so.
Yeah, Luke. Yeah,
I kind of forgot his
so
design because he's just not that memorable. But that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll see what 6 looks like when it comes out.
Yeah.
But to finish off February, and it's the big one this month, really. I mean, it's this or Horizon, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think this will be another one where I kind of miss out on the boat to begin with. I just don't. I'll be honest. If I'm gonna have to choose between Horizon and Elden Ring to maybe find some time to play, it's gonna be Horizon. But Elden Ring would be something I come back to eventually once I start playing more of From Software games.
I feel like I am such an outsider on this one because I have zero hype for Elden Ring. It just
really, you're not the only one, man.
Yeah, I mean, but it's weird. Like, From Software games just don't appeal to me, and I'm okay with that.
Same.
Like, it's just not my thing. I can appreciate how well crafted they are, but I tried playing Demon Souls and I liked what I played enough, but not. It never got its hooks into me. Same for Bloodborne. Same for every Demon Souls game or Dark Souls game, and even I don't think FromSoft was involved with Sekiro. They weren't, right?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
they just teamed up with Activision.
Well.
So they weren't with Bandai. That was an Activision one.
Oh, okay. That's why I was confused on it. But yeah, I played Sekiro. My brother absolutely loved it. Recommended to me super highly. I eventually picked it up like 6 months after it came out. Just didn't click. I was like, wow, these are really nice graphics. There's even a really interesting story, but the moment-to-moment gameplay just, I don't know if it's just that I don't feel that sense of accomplishment when I beat a boss I'm having a hard time with. It's just a temporary reprieve from frustration for me. I'm like, oh, that's over. I can breathe. And then 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, here we go again. Like, I'm gonna have to deal with this. And I mean, I don't mind hard games. I just think that I play games more to like chill out. don't feel like I need to accomplish anything when I'm playing a game. And I think, but I do appreciate that so many people have that mindset. Like they really enjoy the thrill of the battle and getting over past something that seems insurmountable through sheer skill. And I'm like, that's cool for those of you that like that, but it's never been me. I'm like, throw me on Yoshi and let me jump into a pit. I don't care.
I think for me it manifests in different genres. Like I'll tend to play rhythm games on a higher or the hardest difficulties because I get a rise out of that. But I agree with you, Steve. Like it comes down to a genre thing, and from soft style combat, I don't really feel the need to go through that stress. It's just not how I like to play games, I guess, in that genre specifically. So yeah, you're not alone, man. I have zero hype for Elden Ring myself.
I like the idea of those games. It's just a matter of time. That's all it comes down to. Because I did get into Demon Souls. I just had an unfortunate happenstance and kind of got stuck. And then I was like, well, I'm done. But I've always wanted to come back to it and try one more time to get to it. And I love the aesthetics of Bloodborne. I want to check that out at some point. I'm a Castlevania guy. You give me that gothic architecture. God, yes. Yes.
Right.
I do think you're onto something with the time aspect of it, though. I think that if I didn't work in games and didn't, have to like basically play my way through games in a way as quickly as I can for the most part. And it was back, because I think about this often. When I was a teenager, I could sit down with Mario 64 literally for months and have that be the only thing I play and uncover every little thing about it. But now as an adult, especially an adult that covers games on YouTube here, I don't have the kind of time I need to be able to really go that deep into any single game. And when I played Demon Souls, I was reviewing the whole PS5 and the games that came out with it. So I was like, all right, Demon Souls, you've got 4 hours. Let's impress me.
It's another wrinkle. And it's me trying to figure out my schedule because, we got the job, we got family, and, finding out a little bit of time for playing for yourself. And, just sometimes it doesn't work out. I don't blame the game. I don't blame anything like that. But if I get a chance, I'd definitely like to try it. But, oh well.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. I would give it a shot, but I'm just not like I'm like way more hyped for Kirby than I am for this.
Me too.
Well,
Kirby.
Let's actually get over to March, which I'm going to just dub the month of Square Enix because my God, spread out your releases, Square. This is ridiculous. As early as March 3rd, Babylon's Fall from Platinum Games, which I don't think anybody cares about. That game's going out to die. It feels like there's no hype behind it.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to say beyond that. It's just like poor
Platinum.
I
love Platinum, but I just don't care about the IP. I don't care about what the kind of game it is.
The live service and all
that. I don't really care about the kind of game it is. I don't care about the IP. I just don't have any hype for it. I love Platinum, but we might be getting Bayonetta 3 this year, and that's when I'll be paying more attention to Platinum.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
absolutely. Then right after, a day later, on March 4th, get both Gran Turismo 7, which I don't think any of us care about, but good for those fans, and Triangle Strategy, which is a game that I want to be excited for because it's based on it seems based on tactics, inspired by tactics.
Yep.
From everything I've heard about this game, it might be too wordy for its own good.
It is really dense. I played the first demo. I haven't played the more recent demo, but I actually streamed the first demo for us or in our early days, and it was really dense. Like I think I played for like 3 hours, and it was like 3 battles within those 3 hours. And I want to be excited for it because I love Final Fantasy Tactics, but I love the aesthetic of this game. I love the music from what I've heard, the character designs. It's everything I love about it is there, but it's just, I don't know if I have time for it. It is so dense.
It's a victim of world building at the cost of game design. When I played the demo, they're like explaining in like 30-minute cutscenes, which are all text, like the factions in the world and the history of the battles between them and who is allied with who. And I was like, I don't care. I haven't even played yet. Like, you should teach me this as I play. Like, this is, weave the narrative into the gameplay and you'll get me hooked on both. And the problem is, I don't sit down to play a game and think, I can't wait to wait 45 minutes to play. Like, that's not what I want. That's not what anyone wants. And Square, for better or worse, has kind of put together this game that has all the right parts, just delivered in the wrong way. And yeah, that first demo did the opposite of what demos should do. Like, it turned me off to the idea of playing the game, to where, just like you, Ash, I haven't downloaded the second demo or any of, and when I hear the game come on, I'm like, well, brain's clicking off, like, because I don't want to play this. This is going to be one of those games where, to get me back on the hook, I'm going to need to see almost universal praise for it. Like with Deathloop, where I kind of checked out because it kept getting shown everywhere. And then suddenly started hearing, oh, this is a Game of the Year contender. It won Game of the Year multiple places. I was like, all right, I guess I should try it. And it turns out it is good, but the marketing and the delivery so far has just killed my enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Even though on the face of it, I feel like I should be hyped for it. I'm not yet. But like you said, Steve, if it does come out and get universal praise, I'll probably jump back on board, because I love the idea of it on the face of it. And it's, FF Tactics-esque, which that alone is a lot to sell me.
And Tactics does a good job of making those politics work and getting into the world, but it also got a lot more gameplay in there, a lot more quickly. And, strategy games are ripe for having a bit more story, but this just feels like the balance is a little bit off. And
we'll to get into predictions territory for a little bit, we do know from that NVIDIA leak that Square's working on an actual remaster of Final Fantasy Tactics, and the Chrono Cross remaster we now know is real. So we might be getting an actual Tactics remaster later this year, which that would be more exciting, I think, than Triangle Strategy.
Right. It makes sense they haven't announced that yet, because people will definitely just forego Triangle Strategy in favor of Tactics, but that is what it is. But the Square Enix train continues, as in March 10th, 6 days later. My God, that's when Chocobo GP comes out.
Yes, this is the one I'm hyped for, baby.
Yeah. And I do want to ask though, Ash, how do you feel about the season passes?
I don't like that. I'm straight up.
No.
That's the first thing I've heard about this game that has kind of dampened my hype. I'm still excited for it because, look, I love kart racers. I love Final Fantasy. You put those two together, you got me sold, man. But the season pass approach, I really hate it. And that's something that's probably, assuming I do get to review it, will be something I mentioned that I probably won't like about it. I have to wait to see how they do it. You never know how aggressive or not the pricing is going to be, but this is Square Enix, so I'm going to guess it's going to be pretty aggressive, because they like to just aggressively price everything they do.
They have come out and said that you'll earn the amount that you need for cloud, just playing normally.
Just by playing.
They know what they need to say.
They know how to, first hit's free.
Exactly.
You got cloud, but do you want Squall? We have Squall here too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This isn't as excited as I am about the game. It isn't the kind of thing where I would be willing to continuously pay for it as a game as a service type thing. It's just, just sell me a full, complete game that I can unlock characters in. Post-launch DLC, sure, I'm down for a couple of ways of that. But the game as a service thing, I hate the season pass approach idea for this game. I really wish they weren't doing that. But I'm still excited about the game.
Some people are saying that they heard the season pass didn't cost money, and I don't know the full details on it, but because it's a little weirdly,
it's a little bit vague so far, and that's why I'm not ready to pass judgment yet, because we don't really know yet. And if it doesn't actually cost money, then that's a completely different thing. I don't love the idea of time limited content. Period. Even if it is free, I don't like when a game tries to pressure me to play it. I should just want to play you when I have time to play you. You shouldn't try to pressure me into it. But I still, the core game from what we've seen looks really exciting to me, and I'm still very much anticipating it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know that you're about to skip a date that I want to talk about.
All right, let's talk about it. I want to talk
about March 15th. For one specific reason. I know you're looking at the page and you're like, what could possibly be there?
I know.
The Cruel King and the Great Hero.
Oh, That's not what I expected.
Oh, you definitely thought I was going to talk about GTA 5. Yeah. But
Yeah.
GTA 5 comes out that day, but that is not the game I'll be picking up on the 15th. I want to play The Cruel King and the Great Hero, which is a Switch and PS4 JRPG from NIS, which I believe it's a new franchise for them. And
cool, okay.
if you look at the trailers for this game, the art style is just absolutely phenomenal. Like, I mean, you play as like a kid that wears like a pot on their head for armor, and you fight all these kind of cute little monsters, and you end up talking to people. Like it looks like a storybook. Like the art style is very fairy tale-esque, and you can see in like the gameplay trailers, like you talk to like sheep people and stuff like that. But the hook is probably one of the best ones that I've ever seen for like a cutesy RPG like this. It is the final villain telling the child how someday the child will grow to defeat him. And I'm like, that is so cool. Like, I love the premise of this, you know.
This really reminds me of, oh gosh, long time ago on like the Wii U era, where there was an RPG from Ubisoft, came out around the same time as The Great War. Had sort of a same sort of childlike,
Are you thinking
artistic
Child of
look.
Light?
Child of Light, that's it.
Yeah. It's a great game.
Fantastic. I'm getting a lot of memories of this. This was not on my radar, but this is freaking adorable.
This looks really cool, and I'm getting strong Child of Light vibes from it. Yeah,
I absolutely love this. I'm hyped as hell for this game. I think it'll be just a fun, smaller title, but yeah, I'm here for it. I mean, you also get GTA 5, which is cool. Like that comes out that day, but
no, this is much more exciting than GTA 5.
One of those obscure
way
games
more exciting
that folks overlook way too much, and it'll be one of those ones that, you know, when other YouTubers are doing videos about like, here's a cool game you missed in 2022, this game will absolutely make that list.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of smaller games that I'm looking forward to, there's one coming out right after it called Tunic. That's like a 2D Zelda-esque, in which you play as a cute, adorable fox. And we've seen a couple of trailers of it in various presentations and such over the last several months. It looks great. It looks charming as hell, and I've been actively looking forward to checking this game out. I think it just looks absolutely charming as all get out, and it looks fun.
We need to get in touch with them, because they just put out a call on Twitter. It's like, big and small creators, get in touch with us if you want to, you know, get this.
Oh, awesome!
Get a review copy. So,
yeah, I really want to check this game out. It looks adorable.
I have a feeling I know where we're headed soon here this month.
Oh yeah, I mean,
oh yeah.
Wait, you don't want to go to paradise there, Steve?
I was raised in paradise, baby. I don't need this.
Yeah,
we're going into full-on bullshit territory now.
Yeah. Granted, the Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is there too, but that is a straight up port. Good for it, but there's nothing much really to say there. Stranger Paradise. This again, if we can get it early, I want to talk about it so bad and see what it's like. I'm just so freaking curious.
So worried for you, Derek.
You should be. You really should be. But I really want to see this and just see if it can surprise me.
I'm gonna reach out, because I need to talk to Square about Chocobo GP too. So I'm gonna start talking to them about this as well. I did famously get us Kingdom Hearts 3 in the GX days. So
that's
true. Right.
If I can pull that, I should be able to pull this.
I am so like you know, we've talked about this before. I won't go too long about it, but I am curious about this game from The Room type standpoint, where I just want to know how dumb it gets. The gameplay didn't do anything for me when I played the demo. It didn't do anything for me, but I'm here for the cheese. I'm here for the dumbassery, and that's what's that's what's pulling me into this.
It feels like there's going to be plenty of that to go around in this game.
Exactly.
That's just sort of where I'm coming at from it. I've said my piece. We've had our debates. If people have seen that,
I can, on a certain level, I can respect it. The thing that I hate is that, you know, that even if the folks making this find the same humor in it that we do, that Square Enix PR would never let them say it out loud. Like, they'd never be like, we made it because it's super funny. Have you watched the trailers? Like, I feel like there's no way the folks making this game have no clue. It's almost better if they don't. But I feel like there's no way that they don't like recognize just what this game has become. I feel like if all of GVG got together and made a game, it would be tonally very similar to this.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
saw. Obviously, we do these for a live audience now, and I saw somebody mention that Stranger of Paradise is basically all the right things done in all the wrong ways, and that feels pretty apt.
I will say
There's some aspects that just nail Final Fantasy.
I firmly believe that this is going to be a very bad game, but I will say that there is sometimes great humor to be found in the improper execution of stuff like this. Like, I firmly believe that this game is either going to be literally one of the worst games that we've ever played, or one of the funniest games we've ever played. And those two concepts don't have to be mutually exclusive.
I'm excited. I really want to touch it. I play it, and I would, even if I didn't get it early, except March 25th is coming, and that's when Kirby and the Forgotten Land is coming out. Woo! And I'm sorry,
hi Nintendo.
Kirby wins out. Hi.
Kirby comes first, man. Kirby always comes first. Yeah, I am so excited about this game, like we all are.
Yeah.
What else is there really to say, right? It's Kirby, the first mainline 3D Kirby game ever. And mouthful mode now is a thing, which is just hilarious.
Before, I'm completely sold after mouthful mode.
I am just so excited about this game. It looks absolutely delightful, and it's just it's looking like it's going to be exactly what I want. Just gaming nirvana. It's Kirby, and it's colorful, and the music's going to be great, and the gameplay is going to be fun. Probably won't be too hard. That's fine. I don't come to Kirby games for the difficulty. I come for the sheer joy of Kirby and his world and the characters. Yeah. And I'm so excited.
No, there's going to be extra modes that bring the difficulty.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you want difficulty in a Kirby game, it's there to be found.
Yeah.
I'm just hyped as hell. This is the first 3D Kirby, or this is the first Kirby that I've really been interested in a long time. And so I'm excited to just kind of ride the hype train with you guys. Like, I will be playing this day one when it comes out. I would say this is probably, of the whole list we've gone through so far, the first game that all three of us intend to play, like, right at launch.
I think so.
Yeah. Horizon almost got there, but I know you're going to be busy, Derek. So
I want to play it. And the thing is,
and you've already played it, Steve. Yeah.
For me, you know how you've been playing through Ace Attorney with Basola? That's going to be Horizon and me with Amy. if once I get a hold of it, because she loves the story, wants to see it. So it's something we can do together, but finding time. So that's going to be the tricky part. But that's not the only game that comes out on the 25th. For people who are not into Kirby, and what's wrong with you, there's also Ghostwire Tokyo and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which...
sorry, I mean...
Yeah.
Ghostwire Tokyo could be okay.
I'm kind of interested. I'm like interested adjacent in Ghostwire Tokyo. Don't care about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, but Ghostwire Tokyo could be interesting. But I'm going to be playing Kirby, so sorry, Ghostwire, but Kirby.
Yeah, Ghostwire. So I have a couple qualms with Ghostwire. First off, it's a Bethesda game, which is not like an indictment of the game, but it also means that it'll probably get an Xbox version and be on Game Pass later. So I'm like, do I buy this or do I just wait? Because Microsoft bought Bethesda. There's no way that they're not going to throw it up somewhere once the PlayStation exclusivity expires.
Same thing with Deathloop, so...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I got Deathloop for like $20 6 months after it came out. I might just do the same here because I feel that...
That's probably going to be apt. That's probably going to work out.
Yeah, and then Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I like Borderlands. I've played it with my friend Nick, but again, it's just something where it sounds like an interesting idea, but it might be one of those, 22's wrapping up. I missed this. I'll try it now that it's on sale. I really just don't... Neither of these have the draw for me to want to go out and get them when they come out. And I would say that of the two, Ghostwire is probably the victim of like intentionally lackluster marketing. I feel like Microsoft is like, do we really want to advertise a PS5 exclusive or could we just not? Because I feel like that's what, frankly, I would do. Like I feel like, anybody... Microsoft might publicly outwardly say like, oh yeah, we're committed to supporting all these multi-plats that these publishers we bought are still making, but are they really?
Yeah. And it's funny to point out before we move on to April, of course, DLC isn't included in this list, but our good friend Top Dog in our live audience chat just reminded us that Mario Kart 8 DLC is coming in March as well, which who'd have thought? Okay, cool, my bad. Well, but who'd have thought that in a 2022 discussion would be talking about new Mario Kart 8 DLC? That is just
I love it.
Bonkers to me. I love it, and I cannot wait for the first pack.
It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun and smart ideas, and I'm excited for it.
I retroactively feel smug about having the expansion pass for Nintendo Switch Online.
I know, right?
Right?
It's finally worth it.
Yeah. And I know there's a little love for Rune Factory 5 out there too. Personally, I don't care about it, but I know there's quite a few of you out there who are
Amy's kind of excited for it. 5. Also, as far as indies, we do have Dawn of the Monsters from Way Forward, which is a kaiju beat 'em up.
Right. Forgot that's coming.
Don't have an exact date, but sometime in March.
Yeah.
So March is a good month. It's a really good month.
Yeah.
April, also a good month. Because
which is weird.
Right off the bat, I'm curious about it. April 5th, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All 9 movies represented with completely new gameplay. You know what? Could be good. I have heard some crunch, but that's common. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of thing that could pull a casual Star Wars fan like me in. That, like, I haven't played a lot of the Lego games, but as I understand it, they're very consistent and they're very charming and just consistently good. And so I feel like this could pull a casual Star Wars fan like me in, but it won't, because there's a game coming out 2 days later that's going to get all my attention. So
yeah, that's the thing. There's 2 games here crammed right next to each other that I can't ignore. April 7th. Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition. Yes.
Nice.
So excited.
I want to try it. I've never played Chrono Cross, so I'm excited to give it a shot. My brother has told me that it's one of the most amazing games. I just have never given it a shot. I'm more excited, honestly,
Your brother
about
has
Radical
good taste.
Dreamers than...
Yeah, we can play Radical Dreamers now.
There's a Teleview game in there. That's wild.
Yeah, and it's actually getting an official localization. I never thought that would happen. And Steve, your brother has good taste, because a lot of people complain about Chrono Cross's pacing, and it does have pacing issues, particularly as a sequel to Chrono Trigger. But if you can get past those pacing issues, the game is so special.
And I had no issue because I played Chrono Cross first. I played Chrono Cross before Trigger, and I was there for it. It just
seems like that's the way to do it, because I think divorcing Chrono Cross from the expectations Chrono Trigger puts on it probably is a good thing for that game.
True, but once you do get to that Chrono Trigger sequel content, strap in, man. Like, hang on, because the ride is wild all the way to the very end. And just
I'm gonna end up playing this.
Just prepare yourself, because it definitely recontextualizes a lot of what happens in Chrono Trigger in ways you might not expect. So
I don't think it's very long either. I want to say it's like 30 hours, maybe.
No, it's not particularly long. Yeah, I'd say 20 to 30 hours. Yeah.
I like
you got more time in it depending if you want to recruit all the characters and see all their side stories and stuff like that.
It also has one of the best soundtracks of all time. It is so good.
Whoa. Compared to Chrono Trigger, though?
Oh, well, that's what I said one of. Yashinori Mitsuda knocked it out of the park with both Trigger and Cross. They're both amazing. Like,
there's some tracks in there in Chrono Cross that are just...
all right. You got me sold. I guess I'm picking that one up.
Yeah,
it's so good, man.
But with Chrono Cross coming out on the 7th, does that mean that April 8th, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp is going to get left to the side? Because it feels wrong, but I was excited for it. But now, it's next to that.
Playing Chrono Cross, I will gladly take this one off your hands.
All right.
You can have it, man. I personally don't. I appreciate the series, but I just don't care about Advance Wars. I never have. Personally.
It's adorable.
I think I didn't appreciate Advance Wars as a product of its time. I was not into the genre at all when I had a Game Boy Advance, but as I've grown older, I've learned to like. Honestly, I can kind of blame Fire Emblem Awakening for me just kind of getting into the turn-based tactics genre altogether. Because now I have a much deeper appreciation of those games. I reviewed Wargroove. I loved that, but the whole time I was playing Wargroove, I was like, could we just get Advance Wars back? Like, I want to play that. Because Wargroove, for those of you that haven't played it, is clearly a love letter to Advance Wars fans. And Wargroove was an amazing game. So kind of having that and more recent Fire Emblem stuff under my belt, I'm really excited to go back to Advance Wars and give it a shot.
Yeah. It's definitely something I will return to, and I definitely wanted to pick up. I love the production values behind it. I've always wanted to play a bit more of Advance Wars. I just never got the chance. So it's a great opportunity.
And, this would be a good chance for me to check it out because, like through account sharing, right? Like this will be a perfect way for me to just like dip my toes into Advance Wars and play it myself and see what the hype is about. But it's not something I would probably seek out and buy necessarily because it's just not my genre.
Yeah. And then April 12th, don't have to talk about it too much just because it's a port, but 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, everybody talks about how amazing that game is.
I've heard so many good things about this game.
Story-wise, apparently it is just phenomenal. So definitely keep that on your radar. I already have it on PS4, just haven't had a chance to play it yet, so I'm not going to be picking it up. But it's definitely something on my radar. Same with April 21st, Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. I've always wanted to play Pocky and Rocky, but to have a remake come out with.
I think this is for Japan only. I think for right now, this is just a Japanese release date. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. So. I completely. Yeah. I saw a trailer for it. It's like, oh, okay, it's coming out in April.
Hey, I think it's coming out later this year here. But I am curious, like you, Derek. I've always been curious about Pocky and Rocky, so it's on my radar as well.
Okay. Well, then otherwise, April just has the 29th, Nintendo Switch Sports.
Yes.
Right.
That's pretty big.
Damned excited for this. Like, I shouldn't be, because honestly, like, the Wii had so many better games than Wii Sports. I'm just going to say it. People, I think, overhype Wii Sports just a little bit because it sold so much because it came with every damn Wii in the West. And I know in Japan you had to buy it. But I love Wii Sports. I don't think it's like a seminal game or anything for Nintendo. I think that it proved the concept of motion controls, and it is kind of a cultural touchstone, especially in America, where it brought different age groups together around the idea of playing video games. Like a whole generation of people that didn't play games played games because of Wii Sports, and I'll never undersell it for that. But as a game critic, as someone who plays varied types of games, like I don't find a lot from a game design perspective strictly that makes Wii Sports super special, but I am excited to have it back because, when Wii Sports came out, I didn't have kids. I didn't have a family.
Right.
And this is like a perfect ass family game. Like this is like, I can have my 5-year-old play this with as much skill as I can, so I'm excited for it from that perspective. I'm excited to introduce my children to Wii Sports, because I was just like a 20-something that wore a lot of Nintendo t-shirts back then. Now I'm a late 30-something that wears a lot of Nintendo t-shirts. But yeah, I will say I'm definitely super hyped for it though, but not for the reasons I'm traditionally hyped for games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel a lot very similar to you about Nintendo Switch Sports and Wii Sports. Like I appreciate how culturally relevant it was, and I appreciate how massive it was for Nintendo as a business and the sell-through, of course. But I just personally think there were a lot better games on the Wii that I would rather play. And so my own hype for this is kind of, honestly, if I wasn't going to play it with you guys on stream or for EP streams and whatnot, I probably wouldn't pick it up. This is a game I'm going to pick up because we're all going to play it together and have a good time, right? And I don't have kids, so that's not a draw for me. I'm not going to... And
sure.
My wife was never really into Wii Sports, so I don't really have the family angle to go from, but we're going to play it together, and that's why I'll get it. But personally, I appreciate the hype surrounding it, but it's just not like something I would rush out to go play myself necessarily.
Yeah, I can feel that. There's nostalgia there. This is probably another one of the games that I played a lot with my dad. We'd do golf, we'd golf against each other, we'd bowl against each other, tennis. It was, that rare opportunity, even though I was college age at that point. So it was, that doesn't happen too often. So that kind of stands out as something special. Obviously I won't be able to do that this time, but we got kids, there's people to play against there. And I love all the extra things they're adding to this. There's a lot more game to this than what the original Wii Sports had.
The one thing I do want to point out is where the hell is boxing, Nintendo? That was like my favorite one. I loved...
No, it's so fun. Boxing was cool.
Got me back later on in the Wii's life cycle, but when I played Wii Sports, I was like, this is the closest thing I'm going to get to Punch-Out for a while. And I played the hell out of boxing. Thankfully, Level 5 got me and made a Punch-Out. But... which hopefully this is just like a predictor of Punch-Out coming to the Switch at some point. But that would be my favorite thing to come of Wii Sports if it somehow foretold Punch-Out.
Oh yeah, next level, not level
or
5.
Next level. Sorry, next level,
Right.
level 5. Don't put level in your
close.
name, game companies. I won't remember you. But I will say, but there is hope still because Nintendo did say they're releasing more sports like as the game goes. Didn't they say, what was it? Golf is coming out later?
Golf,
Which,
free
again,
update,
that's a weird one not to include right at the start. I feel like of the core games, that was one of the ones people think about the most, especially because Nintendo really heavily featured golf in all the marketing for Wii Sports back in the day. You know, they made a big deal of showing people like holding the Wii remote down like a golf club and swinging it.
Maybe it's because they want to squeeze a few more sales out of Mario Golf Super Rush before it just kind of has its lunch eaten by
I feel like there's no, or I shouldn't say no, but very little overlap between people that want Mario Golf and people that want Wii Sports or Switch Sports as it's called.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. It is nice to have like an up-resed, well, not just up-resed, but like a redesigned version of the game. I'll just be interested to see, because in my opinion, Joy-Con are not nearly as accurate as Wii Motion Plus was. I feel like they require calibration much more often, so I'm curious if they've kind of built some mitigating controls into the game so that you're not constantly like getting off center or having trouble with the Joy-Con. But I'm here for it. I think it'll be a great streaming game. I love the bowling mode that has like, what did they say, like 80 people or some crazy number of people all going at once.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a lot of fun
style. That's
online.
fun.
Yeah. But yeah, and to address one thing from Dream Traveler Pandora in our patron chat, if you'd like to find out more, patreon.com/GVGaming. I do hope that this has Pro Controller support. I know that some people will find that antithetical to the idea of Wii Sports, but for accessibility, it's always a good thing to have more options. And frankly, if I'm playing it in handheld or tabletop mode or something, I'm not going to want to swing Joy-Con at the Switch on the table. I think that's great in your living room, but everywhere else that might be problematic.
I completely agree. And that
Lauren Acornbury has said that they've said it won't be playable on Switch Lite. So dash those hopes.
Sorry about that. No Pro Controller support.
Right.
That pretty much
there you go.
it.
There you go.
Just is so frustrating. It's like one of the things I love Clubhouse games. It's so fun, but the fact that you can't play it with a Pro Controller is still so dumb to me. There's just no reason for that game. And same thing with Wii or Nintendo Switch Sports. But I digress. Nothing we can do about it. So
yep.
Yeah.
And as of right now, we hit a bit of a break. For whatever reason, March is packed and until early April, and then we get a little bit of a break until Switch Sports, and then May kind of open from what I can tell. The only one game that I see that kind of stands out to me is Forspoken, which really hope that one's good. That one I'm loving the trailer so far.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about it, but I'm also still interested in it. I'm kind of taking a wait and see approach, but I on the face of it, I'm excited about it, and I hope it turns out well. But I'm just not quite sure yet.
Yeah. I had to look up Forspoken because it's been a while, but I forgot how good traversal looks in this game. Like just
really
running across, like you look like a badass just running around. And so I will say that visually Forspoken reminds me of kind of the more recent crop of games that are being developed in China. That are really heavy on like flashy elements and action, but don't really nail necessarily the things that I find most important, which are like weight and movement, like feeling like the character is grounded to the world they're in, and combat feeling like it actually has impact to it. And I think that a lot of smaller and inexperienced developers have problems getting that right. You can see it with Smash clones too. Smash clones, often one of the things that haunts them the most is that the actual combat doesn't feel like you're hitting anything. With Square making a game in this kind of style, like that high octane, very action, kinetic driven kind of style, they're one of the few developers that I have almost blind faith that they can pull that off, that they can make combat feel satisfying because they've proven it so many times. So yeah, this one's pretty high on my list, but I am troubled by the fact that we've seen very little of this for a game that's coming out in a scant like 3 months like that. I feel like 90 days out, we should know a lot more about this game than we do.
If we're seeing as little as
this got
I
delayed.
agree.
If we're seeing as little for this as we are for oh god, I've already forgotten it, Babylon's Fall, then it's in trouble. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Like, I haven't lost hope in
hopeful
it
for
yet. I'm excited for it, but I just need to see a bit more before I'm completely sold.
Yeah,
But I am
agreed.
pretty excited for it. Yeah.
Exactly. And then June, we got June 10th, Mario Strikers Battle League, which hell yes,
Hell yeah.
hell
Nice.
yes. That's another one. I think it's all day one for all of us because that's just gonna
Yep.
be fun to play against each other.
Yeah, I'm going to be garbage at it, but this is a game that I'm 100% getting for us to play together and for EP streams, play with our patrons. Yeah, why wouldn't I get this? It's
Oh
another
yeah.
Mario Strikers game, and it's just going to be fun, even if I'm going to suck at it.
Yeah, I do want to call out Demon Slayer coming to the Switch as well. I've played the PS4 version, and it's another one of those, I forget what studio it is, but it's the same studio that did all the
CyberConnect.
Naruto games. Yeah, CyberConnect did this one, and if you've ever played the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, which are also on the Switch now, they do a great job with kind of recreating anime visuals. So
They
this
are
game, if you're
gorgeous.
into Demon Slayer, is one to look out for.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We also played the Kakarot. They did Kakarot. You can know how gorgeous some
yeah.
of those scenes would look.
Oh, right.
Kakarot on Switch is ridiculously impressive, and it does not get the credit it's due for how well they handled porting that game with all of its like crazy amount of on-screen effects going on at once.
That's cool. And then on June 24th, we have the Somnian Files Nirvana Initiative. And I know none of us have played the original, but I've heard really good things about the original. And
I have
fans
too.
of that game are extremely excited for this one. It almost seems like a successor in a way to Danganronpa. So it's sort of the same idea. And just completely, the people are completely excited for that one. So one to look out for. I wouldn't mind checking out the original at some point. But June 24th is also when Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes comes out, and I'm sorry, that's the one I'm going to be getting.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I am far more hyped for Three Hopes than I was for Age of Calamity. I feel like they'll probably do a bit better performance-wise with Fire Emblem Warriors, just given the history
Hopefully.
of the previous Fire Emblem Warriors game on the Switch. But yeah, this is what I'm here for. I also think Fire Emblem in general, just because of the nature of the series, lends itself better to the idea of being like a massive hack and slash.
True, but I'd still label the original Hyrule Warriors as better than the original Fire Emblem Warriors.
I will give you that. I think the
I think
original
that's true.
which is interesting because gameplay-wise, I do think Fire Emblem Warriors was better. It it had a lot of things. By the time the definitive edition of Hyrule Warriors comes out, it negated all those things. But at the time when it first came out, Fire Emblem Warriors was better. And I was excited for Age of Calamity and what it offered. Obviously, it ended up being something a little different than what we expected. But now that we have those expectations in check for Three Hopes, it does seem more exciting from that aspect because it plays into Three Houses a little bit better in that way.
Right.
I agree with that. I think if you know of what they're going to go for going in, then it sets expectations a bit more level than stuff was, especially for me for Age of Calamity, which I won't go into spoilers, but if you've followed me for a while and you know what I was hoping for, I definitely didn't get that.
Nope.
You know what? I think I might be the lone voice, not of dissent, but coming at this from a different angle. I loved Age of Calamity, despite its performance issues. It actually reined things in for me in a way that made me want to 100% the game. Hyrule Warriors, the original, had way too much content. Fire Emblem Warriors, to me, had a little bit too much content, too, even though I enjoyed it more. Age of Calamity felt just right. It hit that sweet spot for me, and it's actually because of Age of Calamity that I might be a little bit more excited about Three Hopes than I may have otherwise been. And I liked Fire Emblem Warriors more than the original Hyrule Warriors as well. So, it's actually because I loved Age of Calamity, despite its performance issues, that I'm looking forward to Three Hopes, because I agree with you, Steve, both of you, that I think there are probably going to be less performance issues in this game than there were in Age of Calamity. And given that I loved everything else about it pretty much, I'm in. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
Yep.
Nice.
Same here. And let's move over to July. And the hype keeps coming because July 8th, Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series.
Wahoo, man. I'm so
I'm here
happy.
for this.
Day one buy.
So excited. Yep, day one. I'll probably double dip on this. I want to get it on both Switch and like a 4K capable system, so like PS5 or Xbox or whatever. But I just, we'll probably review it, and then I want to buy it as well to show my love and support for the series.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm so
A
excited.
chance to play Klonoa 2 on something other than the PS2. That alone is worth
Yes.
the entry.
Yep,
Yeah, for
100%. I am so happy about this, and I'm excited about both this and the other game that you're probably about to mention,
Yeah.
Derek.
July
Yeah,
22nd, Live Alive. The more I'm seeing about this, the
yeah,
more excited I'm getting because I hear
This
it's a
looks
nice
really
breezy
good.
20 hours and it looks gorgeous. They've added voice acting.
right.
This is one to look out for. This is a gem.
I'm excited to play Live Alive. I've loved everything I've seen of it over the years. Before it was, we even knew there was going to be a remake, and when it was still a Japanese exclusive. It's always been a game that I've been curious about, and I think the HD 2D style is perfect for it. And I can't wait. I think you and I will both be very busy, Derek, review wise, between Klonoa and Live Alive in July. So that'll be
Yep. And who knows what else coming out at that point.
Yeah.
Don't know. But yeah. Steve, I'm going to throw this one to you for August 23rd, Saints Row. How are you feeling about this one?
Saints Row, baby. I can't wait to play this. So for those of you
Nice.
that don't know, I'm a huge fan of the Saints Row series because it is like a parody essentially of GTA. Like it intentionally doesn't take itself seriously at all. And it looks like they're maybe scaling it back like a little bit for this reboot of the series, but I'm excited for Saints Row because it is basically GTA with all the gloves off. Like you can dress like a hot dog, wield a 6-foot dildo, and fly a jet. Like those are amazing things to be able to put together. And the more recent entries like decided to not stop at that level of ridiculous and give you actual superpowers. So you could like shoot fire out of your hands while doing all the other things I just mentioned, set off nuclear explosions in the middle of town and just kill everyone. Like it was just wild. And I do think they're right to probably scale it back a bit because I think the last one had you fighting aliens in space. Like,
as the president of the United States?
As the president of the United States who
Like,
would stop
how do
a
you top
rocket
that?
at the very beginning of the game. Yeah. Like while playing
I mean,
Don't Want to Miss a Thing from Aerosmith, which to me was just the icing on the cake for that one.
none of this sounds bad to me.
Oh,
This
no.
sounds
But
fantastic.
how do you
to me.
top it? That's the problem.
Yeah,
How do you top
exactly.
that?
Like, how do
That's
you
why you gotta
continue
scale
to increase the scale of something like that? So I think it's smart. They could have gone the No Man's Sky approach and just had you do stupid shit, but in space. But I think it's really cool to have you do these kind of wild, to kind of scale it back, keep it on like a planetary scale, I suppose, but let you do all the wacky stuff. Because I think if you've ever played GTA Online, people just find ways to kind of fake their way through doing some of this stuff. So I think Saints Row is real fertile ground in a post GTA Online world where people are kind of used to sandboxes being these big stupid things where you just kind of do the silliest things that you can imagine. But I'm excited to see how they kind of handle it. I think that their last game, Agents of Mayhem, was a tremendous miss. Like it was set in the world of Saints Row, but just wasn't fun. So I think they're wise to kind of go back to the Saints Row branding, but also to keep it a little more grounded. Like I don't need superpowers. I don't need any of that stuff, but I do like the idea of a game where you're supposed to be a bad guy simultaneously, like not taking itself seriously, because that kind of just, I like the idea of going into sandboxes and just having a fun time, blowing stuff up, not caring about anything, not doing the missions if I don't want to do them. But there's still a lot more to be revealed about this, and I'm hopeful that we'll see, some more information come out about this. I want to know if we can play online co-op with people. I want to know what kind of weapons are back. They've hinted at certain things, but yeah, this is just one of the definition of like a popcorn game for me. I don't get engrossed in the narrative. I don't, hang on everything that's going to happen next, but me and my friends just log in and do stupid crap for an hour and a half and laugh the whole way through. And there's a lot to be said for a game that just makes you laugh, like that just knows it's stupid and leans into it. And that's absolutely what this game is for me.
Totally get that.
Yep. I enjoyed when I played Saints Row 2 and 3. So yeah, good times. But yeah, better times coming. Sorry, Steve. At least for me, September, don't have an exact date yet, but September, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. By the way, fun fact. Yeah,
baby.
I always say Xenoblade, but I know Chugga says Xenoblade, and I cannot.
I say Zeno.
I can't not say Zeno.
I say Zeno too.
So I re-recorded myself every mistake saying actually Xenoblade. So I matched with him for that analysis. little behind the scenes. But yeah, I say Xenoblade. I just can't help myself.
I've been saying that since Xenogears. It's always been Xenogears, Xenosaga. Yeah, it's just the way it's always been for me.
But I say Xenomorph. I don't know why.
Yeah, right. It's so weird. But
I don't get it.
Obviously, of the three of us, obviously, Derek, you're the hypest. But I'm excited about this too. To be fair,
We still need to finish the second.
I know. I've got to the very end of the second, and I got distracted by something. I adore Xenoblade 1. And what's funny is I actually went back and beat Definitive Edition before even finishing 2. So I love Xenoblade 1, and I like Xenoblade 2, but I didn't love it.
I'm going to start my training now and start saying Xenoblade.
I know.
Because I know we're going to be talking about this a lot this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, as Chugga told me, the Japanese, trailers and all whatnot always say Zeno.
Yep.
But the English, the American, translated versions that we always have say Xeno. So I'm technically right too. I'm just going by the Japanese pronunciation.
Oh, no. I mean, I literally wrote the guide on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for IGN, and I've called it Xenoblade this whole time. And because I've read Japanese stuff on it, and I've interviewed people that make the game, and I will say it is very I try to say stuff the way the creators say it. So if I know that the creator says Xenoblade, then I'm going to say Xenoblade.
Right.
But it is different. Back then I was just writing words, so no one cared how I pronounced it when I wrote it.
Exactly.
But I do try, if I'm sitting down, because I've had the opportunity to talk to a few folks that worked on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I feel it's very weird. I don't want to say Xeno in front of a guy who made it. He'd be like, it's Zeno actually, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is kind of a weird thing.
At least I would say Xeno, because I've heard that too, and that drives me crazy. I've heard people say Xenoblade.
I've definitely not heard that.
I'm so glad none of us say that. That's so weird.
I will say that I literally picked up Xenoblade Chronicles 2, doing the guide work is just, it's a job. I need some money. I'm going to write this guide for IGN and just put in my work and get done with it. And I legitimately was not looking forward to doing it. I was just like, I need the cash. It's the holidays. This will help me get my kids Christmas presents. And I fell in love with that game. I fell so deeply in love. I have done guides where it is an absolute chore to gather all the information you need. This one, I got lucky. So I was at a point where my relationship with Nintendo of America was quite good, and they had sent me a review copy just for being me. I appreciate that, Nintendo. If you'd like to rekindle that relationship, just call me. But I also got a code from IGN for the purpose of creating the guide, because they would have none of me using a code I got for other purposes. So what I ended up doing was my roommate and I both played through the game together. And we would both jot things down that we noticed to go back and explore. And then I'd write, stuff like, oh, hey, over here you can find, this chest with these items in it, just to kind of give people some flavor throughout the guide. But that game, despite doing kind of the most intense level of work around it, I was not ready to let it go when I was done with it. And so now I'm all right, bring on 3. I'm ready for it. I absolutely 2 had flaws, but it was such a good game, such a well-crafted narrative. And for as complex as the combat system is in that game, when it clicks, you feel like such a badass.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
It feels amazing. And the thing, I don't want to get into it too much because I could talk about this forever. The thing that we've discovered while doing the analysis is just that statement from Takahashi saying that the plan for Xenoblade 3 was always this combination of the two worlds ever since the end of 1 and the pre-production of 2. That's when they came up with that image of the cover art of this one. And yes, this was always the plan. I love it when I hear the creators had plans for these things. Let's do it. I want to see how this ends, how this culminates. I don't know. I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So I bring on September, and it's right around my birthday. That is very nice.
That is nice. Hopefully get it early, and you get a birthday present.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
I would really enjoy that. But that's all the games that have dates. We have exact dates coming out that I think we're all interested in, and obviously there's more coming that don't have exact dates yet, and that includes Bayonetta 3. Could come out this year.
Yep.
What do you guys think?
Hope so.
I hope.
I think it'll make it out this year. That feels like a fall release to me. It just. I guess I'll call it, like, I feel the same way about that I do Breath of the Wild 2. If we don't see more of it by like the summer months ish, then maybe not. But I feel like this is the year for Bayonetta 3. I kind of think so.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like that as well. Along the same idea, we got Dead Space remake, saying Q4, so we could see that this this winter. So that'd be cool. I'm down.
One thing I do want to call out really quick is we don't have a date yet, but Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. That was that radio-esque. Yeah, sorry. I'm still looking forward to that. There's a list here. There's a lot. We can't go through everything, but I just wanted to call that out because I love Jet Set Radio specifically, and I think that looks really cool. I'm just looking forward to seeing more of it.
Yeah, agreed. That looks like a lot of fun. We got DNF Duel, another game from Arc System Works, another fighting game. Don't know the original property, but God, it's gorgeous. That's kind of huge in itself. Steve, Dragon Ball: The Breakers.
Yeah, I love the idea of this game. Like being a regular human trying to survive like the Cell Saga sounds so cool.
Oolong gets to be a main character. That's weird.
That's so bizarre. Yeah.
I just want I want there to be a cutscene in which you're a regular person in the Android Saga, I should say, and you just see Yamcha get bodied by Android 20, just like right through the chest, and you're like, well, time to get out of here.
You're the guy that gets pulled out of the car through the top of the roof.
Oh God!
Lucky you. Lucky you. Then there's also Dragon Quest X Offline, which we don't know if it's coming out in the States, but please come out in the States.
Probably not. I don't think it's gonna, unfortunately.
I hope so.
I want it to, but I kind of don't think it's gonna happen.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
We got Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis listed here. I'm sure it'll start coming out at some point. Don't know yet.
Yeah, they'll start rolling out the content for that.
That is enough to make me get a controller for my phone. So
I know.
Oh yeah.
But what's weird now is we kind of mentioned this earlier, but they're apparently rolling out the content in order of the FF7 timeline. So we're going to get First Soldier story content, and I guess Before Crisis story content, and eventually Crisis Core before we even get to FF7, which is a really weird way to approach it.
Absolutely. It's very odd.
Still looking forward to it, though.
Why not? Let's go for it. Also, chat mentioning not on this list. Dragon Quest 3 2D HD. For whatever reason, I don't expect it this year.
Same. I don't think it's coming this year. I agree. I think it's probably 2023.
Yeah, I'd say early 2023, but definitely 2023.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Freedom Planet 2.
Woo! I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Q1 or Q2, so we should be hearing a release date for that relatively soon.
I am looking forward to that.
Yeah. Front Mission First from the Direct out of nowhere.
Right. Front Mission First from Forever Entertainment. And I'm cautiously optimistic. It was looking pretty good. Not amazing, but it was looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. God of War Ragnarok. I kind of forgot about it, but my God. Yeah. God of War sequel coming out this year.
I feel like that.
Do we think it's going to be this year?
Game.
I think so.
That's the October, early November game.
I bet we get a state of play like in 2 or 3 months.
Yeah,
like, probably your
right.
E3 state of play will pull the cover off that.
Horizon at the beginning,
come out this year.
God of War at the end.
That's a good year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it almost has to come out this year because if it doesn't, what other big tentpole releases does Sony have for the rest of the year? Like God of War has to make it out this year.
I mean, to be fair, Gran Turismo is a big release in its own way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But that's going to be out this month. That's what I mean. Like after that, then what do they have? So I feel like God of War almost has to be this year. I feel like
we're I don't think we're going to get the game, but I feel we'll get a lot more information about Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I think that'll come out next year, but I think we'll get more information about it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same point here. We got platformers eating well. KO the Kangaroo. I mean, I know you were doing some stuff for that as well, Ash. So no.
Yeah, I'm working on PR for it, so I can't personally comment on it, but I'm really happy to see.
It looks cute. I did not expect an actual sequel.
I'm really happy to see the reaction to it because people seem very excited about it. So yeah.
We got Mario plus Rabbids, Sparks of Hope. Although there have been rumblings about that getting delayed.
Something tells me it's not going to make it out this year. I just have a feeling.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 16. I could see that being this year. Easily see that being this year.
I could too. I think it's either going to be late this year or spring 2023. I hope it's this year though, because I don't want to make this
the anniversary.
I'm looking forward to it, but I just want to get to FF7 Remake Part 2. That's like I'm looking forward to 16, but for me, the real treasure is 7 Remake Part 2, and that's definitely not coming out until next year at the earliest.
At the earliest. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was even 2024. I think we'll see a first trailer for it possibly this year, though.
Yeah. Similar to Mario plus Rabbids, do any of us have any interest in Marvel's Midnight Suns for Axis? Same guys who worked on that. I mean, could be interesting, but
I personally not.
Yeah, not. I remember seeing the trailer for it and just not being very wowed by it.
Yeah. Tactics game I am interested in though, Metal Slug Tactics. Still no release date on that one, but that looks so gorgeous.
That looks so cool.
Metal Slug
agreed. I love the art
baby.
style.
Just
Shredder's Revenge.
My veins.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We also have Omori coming to the Switch this year. A lot of people are excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm personally very excited for it based on what I've heard from so many people. I have to play this game.
Yeah. Also, theoretically, we should be hearing about the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake.
Right.
At some point.
My hype is not there for that.
Yeah.
Derek, how dare you overlook the game in which you can pit Batman against Gandalf, man? Multiverses is coming sometime this year.
Right.
I'm still looking forward to that. You know what I mean? I love my Smash clones. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
A fighter I'm a little more interested in excited for a release date, River City Girls 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
I still have to play 0.
Yeah, I do too. I need to pick that up as well. Oh God, sometime this year, Sea of Stars.
Yes, Sea of Stars. That is one of my most anticipated games of any year. Period. It looks so good, and it just looks like it's going to scratch that Chrono Trigger itch really well. I can't wait.
I feel like I should take a closer look at this.
You should look it up. You'll like it. It's a prequel spinoff of all things The Messenger.
Yeah, it's a prequel to The Messenger, but it's a Chrono Trigger style JRPG.
Yeah. While you look at that, we also have Sonic Frontiers.
Yep.
I'm
this year.
Cautiously optimistic about Sonic Frontiers.
Me too.
I am too.
And it's not on this list for some reason, but Sonic Origins is also coming this year sometime.
That's true.
And I'm very excited.
They've not talked about that in a while.
No. I feel like we have to hear more soon. Yeah.
You'd think. Probably make a good summer game, but I don't know. And speaking of summer games, speaking of summer games, Splatoon 3 coming some point. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, baby! I can't wait for Splatoon 3.
Mm-hmm. So
definitely
ready
looking
for
forward
that.
to that. Yeah.
Anybody have any interest in Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League? I don't think that's actually coming out this year. I think didn't they delay that? I
think they delayed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they delayed both that and Gotham Knights, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Then this finally the Shredder's Revenge came up, of course, and obviously we're all excited for that one.
Oh, I'm so excited. Also, I completely forgot this was announced, but Star Ocean: The Divine Force is coming sometime this year. There's a new Star Ocean coming. It looks like a Star Ocean game. It's just I forgot that it was coming.
Very cool stuff. And and if you want big dumb action games, and that's literally what it's all about, Warhammer 40K Darktide. I think that's the one. I don't know this. Oh no, it's the one. No, that's not next year. Never mind the Warhammer 40K game I was thinking of. But
it's
a good year.
Shredder's Revenge, man, in my veins. I just need a release date. I'm so excited.
That is a lot of good games coming out this year, and it's gonna be interesting covering them all. People are mentioning also SpongeBob Cosmic Shake. Hopefully that's a better platformer than the remake of Battle for Bikini Bottom. but we'll see.
And because we're in such a weird timeline, we've got the Sonic 2 movie coming out in April, and allegedly the Mario movie coming out in December. But because this is such a weird timeline, we're so much more excited about the Sonic movie than the Mario movie.
I haven't even gotten a trailer for the Mario movie, so it's hard to be excited.
It's hard to be excited for it. But Sonic 2, I think we're all just so hyped for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to see that as soon as I freaking
Me
can.
too.
I missed out on the original. Didn't see it until it came out on streaming services, and I regretted that every day.
Katie from Sega, if you're watching, we still really want to go to the premiere. Please invite us. We still want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will make the drive to LA, and not get the flu this time.
Yes, right.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all the big ones. Obviously, there's more in there, but those are the big ones that we noticed. Let us know if there's any others that we didn't talk about that we should be excited about, because Steve introduced me to the Cruel King and the Great Hero.
Yeah, that looks great.
And
I haven't
apparently
heard
we
about that.
introduced Steve to Sea of Stars, so there you
Nice.
go.
Yes, you did. I'm very
I
excited.
can't
We
wait
all
to hear
learned
what you think of that,
something.
man. Yeah.
Feels good to learn together.
Indeed.
So, yeah. But unless there's any other games you guys want to talk about, I think that covers it for our look forward to 2022 and the games we're excited for. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/gvgaming. But even just subscribing to the channel and ringing that bell helps us a ton. So thank you so much. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.